Hey everyone, what's going on? It's time for some grill and Torah. This week's Parshat, Parshat Miketz. Some really difficult things to understand this week. We are talking about when Yosef's brothers finally find each other again, find Yosef again, and Yosef's reaction, which seems to be a very shocking reaction. Let me just put these steaks on the grill here. Welcome, Banish. Welcome, Yael. How are you? Please, let's invite everyone in. Let's get some Torah going before Shabbos. Got to get the steak on the fire. All right, let's go invite some people in. Hey, everyone, welcome, welcome. If you're here, say hello. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Let me know if you're from Israel, United States, South Africa, Australia, wherever you're from. Let me know. Say hello. Sign in. Say shalom from your country. And please do invite people in. Share it out on your timelines. I'm just inviting some people in here. Again, if you want to watch it and you are missing my broadcast, all you got to do is hit that notification below. It should say, do you want to be notified when Ari goes live? And just say yes. Okay, we got 9 people in. Sherry, thank you very much. Okay, Manish, how are you? Welcome, welcome everyone. Okay, so this week's Parsha it was an enigma in my mind. But before I begin talking about the Parsha, I want to tell everyone about a really, again, we got 4 or 5 days left. Standing Together is getting out to approximately 3,500 soldiers this coming Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we need people help out with sponsoring this. So I am putting this in here. Banish, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. I'm putting the link in right here. And I want everybody, as soon as I'm done here, or if you're getting off early, to please hit that link and donate whatever you can. The money that's being donated right now, put in your Hanukkah blessing to the soldiers, your wish to the soldiers, because all the money that's being put in right now today is going to Sufganiot and different treats for soldiers over Hanukkah who can't get out from the army. So we're bringing the treats to them. All right, so as soon as we're done, please do hit that link and join me in saying thank you and showing appreciation to IDF soldiers. I know it's a little bit early in America still, so people not in Australia, we're 10 hours ahead, so I guess Australia is probably Shabbos already. But if you are here, please say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. And we're going to start hitting 10 people. Here we go. All right, so this week's Parsha, Joseph's brothers finally come back to Mitzrayim because it's famine where they're living. And they come to Mitzrayim, and Yosef immediately recognizes his brothers, and they don't recognize Yosef, which is a little bit difficult to understand. I know many years went by, but still, not to recognize your own brother. They said that Yosef had a beard and they didn't have a beard. Whatever the case was, something changed about Yosef. Now you have to remember, Yosef was, by the time he was a teenager, he's young, he was brought up in Pharaoh's house. He was brought up in Mitzrayim as an Egyptian. He was taken out of his father's home, out of Jacob Avinu's home, Jacob's home, the whole family setting, the religious setting, and he was put into a foreign country, really foreign country, and completely opposite of what his people believed in. In other words, Jacob already believed in monotheism, and we know that Mitzrayim had many, many gods. So he's brought out of his whole safety net and brought into this foreign culture, which is really antithesis to what he believes in. And now as he brought into that culture, he's made leader of that culture, second in command of the entire Egyptian dynasty. Right? He's got all the power he needs. So his brothers finally come to Mitzrayim, and Yosef recognizes him, and he acts in a very, very harsh way towards them. And I always had a problem with this story. In other words, we know that Yosef did not hold a grudge. We know that. So what was the point of making his brothers suffer? For those of you who don't know the story, his brothers come to Egypt, and Yosef sees them and immediately charges them with being spies and throws them in jail, and then takes Shimon into jail with them. And they go back home, and then they say, bring Benjamin with you, bring Benjamin with you. They bring Benjamin, and then Yosef plays another trick on Benjamin, puts the extra gold into his bag, and tries to put him in jail as well. And the brothers are beside themselves, and the question is this revenge? What is Yosef doing? Now, I want to just, one thing about Yosef, this is really interesting. I remember I told you, Yosef was the second in command in the entire Egyptian dynasty. And they changed his name from Joseph to Tzafna, or you could say in Hebrew and I said in English, a totally Egyptian name, right? So his looks changed, His name changed. I'm sure he spoke Egyptian, of course, although they said that even in Egypt he was very smart and he spoke many languages. But the point is, he was brought about who he was. He was completely a foreign person now. And what is he doing? Is he carrying out revenge on his brothers? Nobody holds that he's carrying revenge on his brothers. And even when we saw that Yosef, when his brothers come in, he holds himself back from crying. So we know that he doesn't want to do what he's doing. So the question is, what is Joseph doing to his brothers? So I think there's this doesn't sit well with me, by the way. The whole explanation is explanation. I don't like it so much. What I mean, I don't understand it so much. But the explanation is the following. I once heard when my son went into first grade, or it was kindergarten, and the teacher was telling us that sometimes your children will have trouble. Let them have the trouble. Don't help them right away. And as a parent, you're like, oh, that's terrible. We want our kids to succeed right away and life to be easy for them. And no, the teacher says, no, let it be hard for them, right? Life is not about Google pressing the buttons and chick, you get whatever you want right away, right? Well, the question is, what would you rather have? Google, click, right? Earning a degree in 30 days online, or have to actually work for your degree? What would you rather have? So most people, when they're teenagers, certainly would say, I'd rather have the easy way out, right? What do I need the hard way out for? But the truth of the matter is, those of us who are a little bit older, and I'm not so older, I'm 21, but those of us who are a little bit older understand that the effort that you put into life is actually the quality that you get out of life. So what Yosef is doing, it seems, is conditioning his brothers for bringing the future leaders of the nation of Israel. These are the 12 tribes. These are the 12 tribes that are basically standing and identified as the whole nation of Israel. And he's got to condition them, also for what they did in the past, but also in the future. How are you going to take care of each other? Even though they hated Yosef with a passion, how are you going to take care of each other? And so he puts them through this test, which is really, it seems like a very, very harsh test. Now, when the brothers go home back to Jacob and tell him the whole story, and Jacob says, why did you tell them that you had a family? Why would you give personal information out? They said, well, he asked for it. Okay, then they tell Yaakov that Yosef, who then was Yosef, asked for Benjamin, asked for the youngest. And Yaakov doesn't want to hear of it. He says, there's no way I'm sending Benjamin over. Yosef is from Rachel. Benjamin is from Rachel. I'm not sending Benjamin over. Shimon is also in jail there. He says to the brothers, no more. Right? No more. I can't send Benjamin. Now, the problem is that the brothers think that Yosef is king, or second in command, and if they don't bring Benjamin, they're not going to have food, and they're going to starve to death. So, I want to pause for a second and go back to the sale of Yosef, when Yosef was sold by his brothers, right? So his brothers originally wanted to kill Yosef, and who got up to stop it? It was Reuven, the first son. Reuven got up and says, no, let's not kill him, let's sell him. Let's put him in a pit, rather. Let's put him in a pit and not have blood on our hands. And he thought maybe later on he would come and save Yosef from that pit, right? And of course, when he left, the brothers sold him, so he couldn't. So did Reuven do the right thing? Did he say, well, let's not kill him, let's just sell him? Was that the good thing to say? Let's just put him in a pit, rather. Just to delay the decision, or should he have stood up? Now what happens is, Yaakov says, I am not allowing Binyamin to go. And what happened was, Reuven, the same one, gets up, the one who was hesitated, right? Hesitated in terms of, well, I won't tell him I'm going to save Yosef right now because he'll hate me. Let's say throw him in a pit and then I'll save him. That same person who was hesitant also gets up and says to Yaakov the following, send Binyamin with us. And Reuven says, I will kill both my sons if I don't bring Binyamin back. Right? Well, it seems very, very heroic of him to say so, right? I'll kill both my sons. And was trying to give a guarantee to Yaakov. But of course, it was a ridiculous thing to say because these are all of Yaakov's children. Ridiculous. Yaakov says, I lost Shimon, I lost Yosef, I lost, I don't want to lose another one. What kind of ridiculous promise? But that is Reuven. Reuven is trying to do what people like to hear, right? People like to hear that. He didn't want to say to the brothers, you cannot do anything to Joseph. He's Jacob's son. We have to bring him home. He didn't say that. He said, throw him in a pit, right? Then I'll secretly come and get him because he couldn't stand there for what's right. And now again, he wants to show Yaakov that look, I'm the firstborn, I'm the hero. I will kill both my sons. That is not the answer. That's not a guarantee. It's a horrible thing to say to a father. Yehuda gets up. Judah gets up. And Yehuda says to Yaakov Avinu, we will bring everyone home. Okay? That is the leader. The promise to bring everyone home is the leader. Don't put another 2 children or grandchildren on the death. That's a ridiculous thing to say. But again, Reuven is not talking about leadership. Reuven's thinking apparently about what people want to hear from him. Yehuda, Judah's saying, no, I don't care about myself. I want to guarantee to my father that everything will be okay. He says, I will go down. Judah, I will go down. And I will make sure we all live and come back alive. And we will all come back alive and well. And of course, he sends Binyamin with him. And then the rest of the story happens. At the end of the day, Yosef does let them know who he is, and they get very, very scared. And they get very, very nervous that now Joseph's going to take revenge on them. And Yosef says, no, brothers, come close. I'm not taking a revenge on you. This whole trip that we just made, the whole thing that I just did to you was not because I hate you or I want revenge on you. It was conditioning for our nation. Okay, we have to learn how to treat each other, and we have to learn how to stand up for each other. That was a lesson to be made. But at the end of the day, we have the brothers who have been brought up in the shelter of Jacob, and we have Yosef, who has been brought up in Egypt. Who is the leader? Well, we know that Yehuda, according to Judaism, Lo Yisur Shevet Yehuda, that the kingdom will never leave the tribe of Judah, on the one hand. But we know that Joseph was the leader of the brothers, right? And it seems strange that someone brought up in Paro's house, in the house of Pharaoh, someone who was given an Egyptian name, who looked like an Egyptian, dressed like an Egyptian, and spoke Egyptian, that he should be the hero here. That seems ridiculous. Well, no. It's the same thing we spoke about Yaakov Avinu just a couple of weeks ago. A leader is not a person who goes through life and everything's easy for them. That is not leadership. That is nothing. A person who goes through life without having any tests and tribulations is not a leader. Okay? It's not a hero. A hero is somebody who makes good decisions even though it's very, very difficult. That's a hero. And so Yosef, even though he was brought up in Egypt, never lost who he was. As a Bnei Yisrael, as a Bnei Yaakov, as a Jew would call it right now, right? How Sinai, it didn't happen yet, but as a Bnei Yaakov, as a Bnei Yisrael. He never lost his identity, even though they gave him a new name, they gave him new clothes. He didn't become an Egyptian Jew. Right? People say, I'm an American Jew. No, you're just Jewish. That is your whole identity. The fact you're living in America is not part of your identity. It's where you're living geographically. So Yosef, yes, was living in Egypt, and Yosef got an Egyptian name and was wearing Egyptian clothing, but he was never, ever Egyptian. He was always the son of Jacob, the son of Israel, Bnei Israel. And that is the leader. That is the real sign of the leader. And we know that it was only Yosef's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, only Yosef's sons who were included in the 12 tribes. Right? Ephraim and Manasseh were included. Only Yosef's, right? Levi was not included in the 12 in terms of getting parts of Eretz Yisrael, and only Joseph's sons were included, because he was a leader, even though he was brought up in a foreign land, without any help, without any support, without his father, right? He kept his identity, and that is a sign of a leader. I want to just, I know it's been a long week. It's been an exciting week. Some of the whole Jerusalem thing, and the Arabs are acting up. And again, I think this is Yosef. This is the message of Yosef. Okay, we have to work with the world. Okay, we want to be accepted within the world. But the acceptance cannot, should not, and will not, if it's up to me, be at the expense of who we are. Be at the expense of our history. Be at the expense of our land. It will not. I will not, as a Jew, pick up my hand and say, okay, we'll take Jerusalem because just then you'll love me. No. Be a Judah. Be a Judah. Be a Yosef. Don't tell people what they want to hear. Tell people what's right. What's right. Be honest. Be truthful. Be strong. That is our strength. Hi chochmatchem. This is the Jewish strength, who we are. Our identity is our identity is our strength. If we take out our identity and say, okay, we won't be so loud Jews. We won't scream about the land of Israel. We won't scream about Yerushalayim. No, that's not good. That's not good. So the lesson we learn from this portion of Torah from both Yehuda and from Yosef is be proud of who you are, be strong to back who you are, and don't worry about what the people are calling you, what you're wearing, what people want. Be proud of who you are and what you're supposed to be. All right, everyone, I'm wishing everyone a Shabbat Shalom. I'm asking for a couple of favors here, and I really would like everyone to please help me out with this. Okay, generally every Shabbat I have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people watching this video. That means I should have 2,000, 3,000 people hitting that link below. And again, you can give everything from $18 up to $18,000 or $180,000. But everybody's got to do something because we have 3,500 soldiers we need to get to this week, and we don't have sponsors for it yet. Okay? So I'm asking everyone, as soon as we're done, hit that link below. And do whatever you can. The men and women of the idea for putting their own lives on the line to protect Israel. This is the least we can do to say thank you. That's number one. Number two, please do share out this video. Let's spread some Torah across the world. Let everyone hear what this week's Torah portion is all about. Wishing everyone a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom from the stunning, beautiful rolling hills of Judea, Israel. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.